Let's vibe, let's roll, let's get it. Whoa, shawty showing out, throwing on the dance floor. Fashion killer, huh? You don't give a fuck what a nigga gotta say or a bitch what?
Hey you guys, it's Naimahrae and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, join the fam because we stay litty over here. You feel me? If you're a return viewer, hi, how are you guys doing on this lovely day? As you guys tell by the title of this video, your girl is back with another story time, and this story time I actually have filmed before on my channel, but I privated the video because at the time that I filmed the story time, I thought the situation was over, but it was not, okay? And this story time is too juicy for me to not give you guys all of the details, okay? You know what I'm saying? Before I get into it, I do want to say that this video might end up being 2 parts. It honestly depends on how long this first part gets. We'll see. But I'm not gonna ramble too much. Let's just go ahead and get into the story time. So pretty much I had this friend who we're gonna call Lola, and she introduced me to one of her friends who we're gonna call Matt. Matt was a cool guy, okay? He was a people person. He just had that type of energy that people wanted to gravitate towards him. Like, he was very social butterfly type. And me and him were cool. Like, he was a cool person. Like, we had a few things in common. And we would flirt a lot when we were around with each other. It honestly didn't really mean much. I just figured that's just how he was. That's just how we communicated. Because we didn't talk outside of when we were with Lola together. Like, we didn't text. We didn't call each other. Like, we would always just flirt back and forth. That was just kind of the dynamic of our friendship. I don't really understand it, but that's just how we were. Fast forward, he comes and helps Lola help me move out of my dorm, and the vibes were different this time. They were very different, okay? Matt was flirting. He was flirting heavy, but this time it seemed like he was like flirting to get somewhere as opposed to just flirting just because you're a flirt. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay. So I'm entertaining it as I always do, like, you know, not really thinking much of it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I can feel like it feels different. So we all like go back, like once we're done, and hang out at Lola's house, and me and him are like cuddled up and chilling or whatever. And finally, when it's time to go, we're still hugged up outside, like waiting for our cars to warm up because it's cold outside. And he looked at me, he was like, you know, somebody told me that I would be standing here with you, like hugged up like this. Like, I wouldn't believe them. I was like, yeah, me either, yeah. Now, y'all don't get me wrong, like, Matt was cool, right? He was cool. And I was attracted to him, but I really didn't have feelings for him. So I was just a little confused as to where, like, all this extra, like, heavy flirting and energy was coming from. And I also know how I get, like, when I crush hard. You guys know that if you watch my high school crush series. So I was trying to prevent situations from escalating. So I was just like, okay, like, you know, this is normal for us. This is what we do. Like, we flirt, we cuddle, and then we go back to not speaking. That's it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Y'all, boy, was I wrong. The next day, I have a really bad overthinking, anxiety-filled day, and me and Matt had been texting since the night before, which I didn't find unusual because I literally had just saw him. So I'm like, okay, well, he wanted to make sure I got home safe, cool, like, blah, 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 and we're still just going back and forth. But it was, like, long periods of time, like, in between the text messages, so I wasn't thinking much of it. And I was telling him how I wasn't having a good day. I just was really anxiety-filled, overthinking a lot. He was like, oh, you should come over. So I went. I did. I'm not gonna lie. I did. I went over there. Did I set myself up? Probably. But I wasn't thinking anything of it because, you know, we're friends. So I was like, okay, you know, maybe hanging out with friends will take my mind off of everything that's going on in my mind, you know? So I get over there and he's playing this trap music and we're just chilling, we're talking, and I could not calm down. And he was like, Naimah, you really need to like chill out. Like it's okay. Like calm down, like blah, blah, blah. And I told him, I was like, can we like put on something more calm? Like, can I put on my vibes playlist? Like, let's just like chill. Let's literally vibe out, like for real. And so we put on my playlist. Somewhere in the midst of this, he turns off the lights. I once was really like in my head, so I wasn't paying that much attention, but that was a red flag, and I should have left, because why you turning off the lights if we chilling? Why? What you doing? What are you doing? We was vibing, and now you trying to turn it into a different vibe. Anyway, he turns off the lights, and we're literally just laying there. I'm singing, listening to music, and he's like really quiet. quiet, y'all. Like, I mean silent. And I'm literally not paying attention to it. In my head, singing, da-da-da-da, finally starting to calm down. And next thing I know, he grabs my chin and he kissed me. I was like, oh, wait a second. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. In the moment, like, if you've ever been caught up in the moment, the thoughts was gone. I was like, oh, la 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 la, loo loo loo. But after the moment had passed, y'all, I pulled away and I looked at him and I was like, why did you kiss me? And he was like, well, you kissed me back. And I was like, okay, but you kissed me first. Like, what are you doing? Like, you know, like, what's going on? Like, that's not supposed to happen, you know? Like, we were supposed to stay at this fine line of flirting, right? Right here. We over here. We need to be back over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the way over here. Like, you need to, you know what I'm saying? So we both freak out about it. And we're just like, okay, it's not going to happen again. Like, it is what it is. I leave after that. I go home. I text Lola, tell her about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I kissed Matt and well, he kissed me and this happened and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, y'all just don't need to hang out with each other. Like, why would you, like, even set yourself up like that? And I was like, you right, girl. You right. And so I just, you know, I decompressed, and me and him, we still ended up texting after that. Like, you know, he was still helping me through my bad day or whatever, and carried on. We carried on. He texted me the next day, make sure I was straight. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then, y'all, I don't even know if it was probably a week later, a few days later. I don't remember. I had a bad day at work. I don't know what was going on with me at the time. I just had a lot going on. It seemed like everything was upsetting me. And I ended up going back over there, and obviously we kissed again, which that shouldn't be a surprise. And at that point, I was just like, okay, like, it's just a kiss. Like, Naimah, keep it out of your head. But I was really trying to keep it from escalating, like I said, because y'all know how I get once I start liking somebody. Like, y'all, I was trying to keep it from getting to that point. I was. And so I was like, you know, it's just a kiss. Like, it's not a big deal, blah, 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 blah. But after that day, like, we started talking more. We started hanging out with each other more. And, like, I just, like, got to know him more as a person. And the more I got to know about him, the more I was like, dang, like, I kind of like this dude. Like, I really kind of like him. That is not good. Like, y'all, I was low-key, like, freaking out, too. I was like, oh, my gosh, like, I can't like him. No, this is not good. So I was asking Lola for advice. I was like, girl, please, like, I think I like him, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, you need to stay away from him. Like, you're literally setting yourself up for this situation to happen because you keep going back and hanging out with him and blah, 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 blah. And she's just saying all these things. And honestly, she wasn't really saying anything positive. Like, she was not encouraging the situation or anything. And I was just like, okay, like, you're right. Like, I do need to stop putting myself in a situation and then coming to you and complaining about it. And somewhere in the midst of the whole thing, Matt and I decided to just keep Lola out of it because it wasn't fair that she was kind of in the middle. Like, he would go back and tell her things, I would go back and tell her things, and she was just kind of there listening to our situation. And I was like, okay, it's fine. Like, she doesn't need to be in the middle. But yeah, we ended up getting really close, and we had the type of friendship where we could tell each other anything. Like, he knew a lot about me, even though I didn't even talk to him that often, and vice versa. Like, I knew so much about him, and we didn't even talk that often, but I knew so much about him. Things that you wouldn't think that you would know about somebody who you just don't speak to that often. But since we just had that type of friendship where we were open with each other, I went on ahead and told him one night, like, look, I think I'm starting to like you. Like, I don't know where to go from here. Like, this is new to me. Like, help me. And he's just like, oh, well, I'm chilling. Oh, okay, you're chilling. Cool, I can chill too. Y'all, my feelings was hurt. They was low-key hurt. I was like, oh, you're chilling, huh? Okay, cool. But honestly, he, like, his actions were not matching the I'm just chilling vibe. Like, he literally would tell me things, like really nice things, like really sweet things. He was giving me like borderline, I want to make you my girlfriend type of treatment. And that is not just chilling, okay? There's a difference between just chilling and giving me the borderline girlfriend treatment. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, I'm editing, but I had to put this in this video because it's important. I completely forgot when I was telling the story time. So I was not delusional because I found out that he was actually like at his job showing people pictures of me talking about, oh, it's my girl, like I really like her, like she gonna be my girlfriend and this and that. Y'all, I found this out like years after the fact because my friend had somebody she knew that worked with him. But y'all, I was not delusional. Like, come on, be for real. Be for real. Anyway, fast forward after that, like, we had already crossed so many boundaries and it was hard to like reel it back in. And it was just like, y'all, it started to become a mess. Like, because things just weren't the same after the boundaries were crossed. So things just weren't the same after these boundaries were crossed. Feelings were put out in the open and it just was not, it wasn't giving what it needed to give. And my feelings were very hurt, very hurt. Like, I was upset. I was like crying and I was upset for days. And at this point I had went back to school, like, so I'm just sitting here at my door, and like, we're still talking, but the conversation not the same. They went from real conversations to what you doing every 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And I remember he came to visit me one time, and once he left, I just like broke down. I was like, it's just not the same. And I know we were supposed to be keeping Lola out of it, but I was going back to her and telling her like everything, because Lola was like one of my best friends. So I was like, oh my gosh, like this happened and blah blah blah. And she's just like, well, you need to leave him alone. Like, why would you even, like, you put yourself in this situation. You should have just left him alone. And now all this stuff is happening. Like, you knew how he was and blah blah blah. And she was right. She was telling me like the truth of what I needed to hear, but honestly, that's not what I wanted to hear. Like, I'm literally boohoo crying and you're sitting here telling me like, girl, you set yourself up for this. Well, gee, I know that, but can you help me feel better? Can you help me? Give me some words of wisdom, some advice, something. Not sit here and bash me while I'm down, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, girl. But she was also just that type of person. Like, she was really blunt, so maybe I wasn't going to the right person for advice. But she knew him, so I'm thinking like, maybe she knows something I don't, you know what I'm saying? So at some point, I don't remember what happened, but I had like an epiphany. I was like, you know what, Naimah? You need to stop crying over this guy. You need to stop moping around. Like, I think it's because I had went somewhere, and I remember just looking in the mirror at myself and looking back at pictures and stuff, and I was like, dang, I look rough. I looked like I was going through something, and I was like, oh no, this is not acceptable. I was like, Naimah, you need to stop letting this boy control your feelings. So I did. That's exactly what I did. I was like, if you want to just chill, let's just chill. Let's do just that. So shockingly, Naimah put her feelings on chill mode. And y'all, when I tell you, this might sound bad, but Matt actually kind of taught me how to be a little heartless. I'm not gonna lie. Because since he was acting the way he was acting, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna match your energy. Bet. So I started matching his energy. I was reeled my feelings in. I wasn't crying about him like how I was. We would talk here and there, but I wasn't pressed over getting a text message. They weren't real conversations. I mean, we would FaceTime every now and then, but it wasn't anything serious like how it was before. Before, we were FaceTiming, having real conversations. He was enjoying my presence, all this and that, talking about kids and marriage. But I digress, because that's what you do when you're chilling. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Y'all, like, the vibe was just so different. It was crazy. It was like, once like boundaries were crossed and feelings were put out in the open on my end, obviously, the switch just flipped. Like, he was like, oh, she likes me? Bet. Let me not like her back. Let me fall all the way back. Like, he was just acting real different. So I'll never forget, one day he called me and he was telling me so many different things, and like, it was actually a really good conversation, and I was like, oh, okay. But once again, like, my feelings were very guarded. They were there, but they were guarded. And I was just like, okay, well, like, I'm gonna have to call you back because I'm about to go out. Like, we could talk later if you want to, blah blah blah. So I leave, I go out, right? I get a text from him talking about, oh, by the way, I think I'm starting to feel somebody else. What? Y'all, I was like, and it was, y'all, I just remember how I felt in that moment. I was so freaking mad because it's like, you just sat on the phone with me for like an hour, maybe a little over an hour, and you decide to tell me after I told you that I was going out that you feeling somebody else. You know I'm out. You know I'm busy, and you want to ruin my good time? Boy, please. Like, boy, please. I was like, I looked at the message and I was like, okay. And he was like, I just wanted to let you know, like, don't be surprised if I bring her around, and I want you guys to meet each other and this and that. And I'm just like, bro, do you hear how stupid you sound? Like, are you trying to make me jealous? Like, and looking back at it now, like back then I didn't realize it, but looking back at it now, I really think that he was just trying to make me jealous, because why the hell would you want this girl that you had a thing with, right? A situationship with, to meet some other girl that I guess you're planning to make your girlfriend? Like, make it make sense. That's like you having your ex meet your ex. Not your ex meet your ex meet your current. Like, make it make sense. The math isn't mathing. Like, what? I was just like, I was being very dry with him, very blunt, because like I said, I was out, I'm enjoying my time, and you over here coming at me with this BS, like, boy, bye, goodbye, get off my phone. Fast forward a little bit, I'm about to go home for spring break, and ironically, the texts and calls pick back up, okay? They pick up, he wants to talk to me more often, he wants to call me more often. I'm just like, okay, like, whatever. So I get home, and I was low-key avoiding him. I didn't want to see him, because I feel like you told me you feeling somebody else, so you ain't got no business talking to me, you know what I'm saying? He asked me to visit him, and like an idiot, what did I do, guys? I went to go visit him. Insert clown emoji here. Y'all, don't be like me. I went to go visit him, and we actually like talked it out. We had a really good chat. He apologized for everything about what he said and how he treated me and this and that, And I just didn't know really where it was coming from. But like I said, looking back at it, I really don't even think there was anybody else. I think he was just doing that to like make me jealous or see if I would, like, he could get a reaction out of me. But once he realized that there was no reaction and I was actually falling back, he was like, oh shoot, like, I need to find a way to fix this. And I feel like that's what he did. And it worked. I'm not gonna lie. He tugged on my emotional little feelings that were guarded. You know, they was like in a cage, but the cage was like unlocked. You know, it was closed, but it was unlocked, which is not good. So like him apologizing, he gave me this really sweet apology, and I was like, okay, like it's fine. Insert clown emoji. Fast forward, like more time goes by or whatever. After we hung out like during spring break. Then when I got back, I didn't really speak to him that much. Like we texted like here and there, but I was like occupied, so I just didn't want to get myself caught up in that. So I was just like, you know what, we're just gonna keep this to a minimum. But then once summer break came, the texts and calls once again picked back up, and out of nowhere, y'all, he tells me that he likes me. I'm like, you like me? Me? Oh, me? For real? Girl, what? But for whatever reason, I just didn't believe him. Like, something about it just seemed off. I couldn't, like, pinpoint what it was. I didn't know what it was that was making me feel like this guy really doesn't like me. Like, he's just saying this. I had no clue what it was, okay? My intuition is very strong, and she saved me in that moment. I really think she did, because, like, he told me he liked me, and I was just like, I didn't get caught up in it as much as I thought I would have, you know? And so I told Lola, obviously. I was like, Lola, like, he said that he likes me, and like, this is just really, and she was like, that man don't like you, and blah, 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 and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me ask him why he likes me. If you really want to know why somebody likes you, well, not why. If somebody likes you, ask them why they like you. If they can't come up with a reason, they don't really like you. If they do come up with a legitimate reason, then maybe they do got some feelings for you. Words of wisdom for you. Words of wisdom. So I asked him, and he actually gave me a legitimate reason. I don't remember what it was, but he gave me like a legitimate like reason, like, and I was like, okay, but something about it, I still felt really like skeptical about it. And Lola was just like, don't believe him, and blah, 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 and et cetera, and blah, 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 okay? She's saying all this. Now, I want to give you guys a brief backstory on Lola, okay? We had known each other for a long time, and yeah, she was like one of my best friends. So, you know, like, that's her backstory. But I had to say that because it's relevant to the story. And I feel like a lot of you probably know where this is going to go, but moving forward. So, probably about a week later, guys. About a week later, he texts my friend Lola and tells her that he likes her. And I'm just like, he does he? Okay, cool. Cool. Y'all, I was so mad. Like, I knew something was off, but I just didn't know what it was. So when Lola told me, she was like, yeah, he said he likes me, and he's been liked me, like, for a while, like, ever since that me and Lola graduated, because me and her graduated in the same year. And y'all, the time that he told her that he liked her, I don't remember the exact dates and years and stuff, but just know, if I was in college from graduation, it wasn't freshman year, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now. So there was some time in between there, which means you knew this whole time that you liked her, and you decided to, then what was I for? What am I, a pawn in your game? Like, be for real right now. Be so for real. Y'all, I was like, he's kidding, right? He's kidding. And so I'm talking to Lola, and I'm like, bro, this doesn't make any sense. He's so selfish. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, what was the point of him getting involved with me if he just liked you? Like, what? Like, for what? For what? Like, what was the reason? What was the reason? What was the reason? So at this point, I'm livid with him. Like, I am so mad at him. And Lola is just like, I mean, she's not really trying to calm me down, but I'm just letting it out. And she's just listening. She's like, yeah, you know, yeah. And I'm like legit like bashing this man's character to her. Like, I mean, I went in on him. I said some very mean things about him, but if, in my defense, they were all true. Just saying. Like, I know I called him selfish. I called him a narcissist. I told her that he never looked at me as girlfriend type of material, because if I'm being honest with y'all, I think he thought that I was easy and that I was low-key a hoe. I think that's what he thought. Like, I'm not even kidding. I can't make this up. I think that's what he thought, because he definitely had some moments where he showed that, and I was just like, okay. And it was like subtle, but I was like, okay. And that's where I felt like this whole, oh, I like Lola came from. And I was just not feeling it. I was mad at that man, okay? I was very, very mad at Matt, okay? Matt didn't have a chance. If I could, I would have got in the ring with that man. Like, I would have been ready to, But, I'm actually going to end the first part of the story time here. I know I left it on a very interesting note, but just know part 2 will be up soon. I promise y'all, y'all got on me on the High School Crush series, and y'all were like, you're uploading too slow. I promise this one is not going to be like that, okay? Because this one's only going to be 2 parts, not, how long is that one? Like 4 or 5? It's not going to be 4 or 5 parts. This one's only going to be 2 parts, but I'm going to leave it at that. That's where we're leaving off. Let me know in the comments down below how you think the situation is going to end. Like, do you think that things will be reconciled? Do you think that Naimah will walk out without any friends? Do you think that I end up cussing Matt out? Do you think I really did get in the ring with Matt? Like, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I will get part 2 uploaded as soon as I possibly can. It's not in the content plan for this month, but I might make an exception depending on how well this video does. Make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media, which is always in the description box down below. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.
I want a chick that grind on a 9 to 5. Oh, she in them college books trying to get a rise. But tonight, I'm just trying to have a good time.